Allow me to extend a warm welcome to all the viewers on the internet and around the world. It is sunrise on YouTube, morning on Facebook, noon on Twitter, midday on Threads, afternoon on Twitch, sunset on Instagram, and evening on Rumble. I am your host, the Ancient One, the Bachelor Supreme, the Phantom Menace, he who remains, and the master of the deceptive arts. We are broadcasting live directly from the sanctum of solitude and the citadel at the end of time. Do you know the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Knowledge is knowing what you can do, and wisdom is knowing what you shouldn't do. They are actually opposites. Good evening, everyone. I'm the Ancient One. I'm the Bachelor Supreme. I am the voice of the Vasectomites. And today, we will see the disastrous consequences that come with a lack of wisdom. Today, we will look at the reasons why the knee benders initiate divorce. You'll see on your screen, we'll be completing the article that we started yesterday. It's the second part of this article. It's a little bit shorter than the other one. We had to do it into two sections. But the header is Reasons Why Men Initiate Divorce, and it is from divorce.com. It's part of an article that was written in 2024. In truth, I am looking forward to this article. I anticipate that it will be riddled with irony, and you can already see all the reasons, in fact, that are why men initiate divorce. But we're going to dive into them and get the details, right? It's all about the details. But yesterday, we looked at the counterpart and the reasons why women divorce. And we took the position that we are mere observers. We are just the watchers of the truth of this reality, rather than wasting our time denying it or wasting our efforts trying to change it. So this article is not a warning, right? It's not here to warn you. You've already been warned, right? It's not trying to steer you away from your path, because you're going to walk that path anyway. The only way out of this, I assure you, which is my philosophy and my standpoint, this is the hill upon which I plant my flag. Get a vasectomy. If you don't get that vasectomy, you're going to be trying to hold alpha masculinity, trying to maintain alpha masculinity, and it's just never going to work. You're going to fail, man. You are going to destroy yourself and the lives of other people trying to do something that, quite frankly, this article is going to prove that not only is it not possible, it's just not realistic. It's just a delusion, right? So this is just me telling you what is guaranteed to happen if you don't heed my warning. If you don't get that vasectomy, these are the things that are going to happen to you, not might happen to you, right? There are people out there telling you that, oh, well, this might happen in a marriage and that might happen. No. All those things that are saying might, they should change that word might with the word will. These are the things that will happen to you in your marriage and in your life if you don't get that vasectomy, right? If you don't freeze your sperm and get a vasectomy. Now, you don't have to freeze your sperm. but it's a good plan C, right? It's a definitely not a bad plan C. Remember that the reasons for divorce that are given in this journal are actually the causes for divorce. So, first, this happens, and then you get the divorce, right? The divorce simply reveals what I already knew, but what the rest of the world didn't. Your little secret. And this article is just going to blow the top off all those secrets, right? It tells you that these things are actually happening all the time in the relationship to the point where the man just can't take it anymore and just sees that his best way out is out, right? So we saw what the counterpart wanted and expected from marriage, right? The assets combining marriage contract. What the counterpart was hoping was that she would be the queen of her castle rather than a princess answering to her father in his castle. She wanted her own castle. And we started by comparing her expectations with that of being a helpmate for a man, which is what the man is really looking for, right? He's looking for a helpmate, a intimate companion, right? So yes. By the way, I looked up the word helpmate, and the word helpmate is defined as a helpful, in other words, useful companion or partner. Think of intimate partner, especially one's husband or wife. A helpful companion or partner, especially one's wife. Synonyms include assistant, attendant, or supporter. So, are you getting somebody who's going to assist you? Are you getting somebody who is going to attend to you? Are you getting somebody who is going to support you? Right? The question here is, does the man actually get what he wants? And the answer is a resounding and consistent absolutely not. You don't get a single thing that you want in marriage, not one single thing, right? And we don't need to be mysterious about that, right? There's no, oh, maybe if you help with the dishes, or, oh, maybe if you do more chores around the house, things are going to work out. No, my friend. Things are not going to work out. You're going to have a disastrous marriage that's just riddled with fights and inconsistencies, and then you're going to get divorced and lose everything. This is the truth. This is the truth. And you did it to yourself. You have no one to blame but yourself. And if you came here hoping to get some sympathy, I'm here to tell you I've already given up all the sympathy that I had, and I've given it in abundance. I put out 10,000 posts on Instagram warning men not to get married. I had over 40,000 views a month, 40,000 interactions a month, and then I got banned, of course, so I have absolutely no proof of it, but I was killing it for free, and I was killing it for free. So I've warned you enough. I've warned you enough. 40,000 for one person is more. Per month, 40,000 impressions per month, that's hundreds of thousands of people. So you've been warned. And I'm not the only one that warned you. So no more warnings, no mystery here, right? We're just going to look at the details, right? That's what we're here to do. We're here to see what the actual suffering looks like. And maybe we'll gloat a little bit, right? Who told you to get married? Who told you to bend the knee? You did it to yourself. And now that it's falling apart, man, somebody's got to crack those jokes. Somebody's got to make a mockery of you. It might as well be me. The best you can hope for is that I'll do it with a little bit of style. We are going to see, in fact, that 99% of men are actually what they're actually getting from paying all those bills, right? Remember, 99% of men are going to get married by the time you're 60, right? 65 max, you're going to be married. All of you are getting married. If you don't get married, you're going to have kids. If you have kids, they're going to put you in child support. A lot of child support, absolutely. So we're going to look and see what you're getting for all that, what you're paying for, right? The misery that you're paying for and funding for, right? Um, and and I want you to be sure that you're not getting much, if anything at all, right? Um, and I want you to know that I'm going to enjoy reading this article. It's going to be great. It's going to be great, right? It's just going to be so full of insight. And for you guys that think you're marrying your dream girl, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for you to be 2 years in and it all just starts to crumble around you. And I told you get a vasectomy. Listen. I'm not dancing on your grave. I'm here to tell you, get a vasectomy. You're married, you have kids, get a vasectomy. You're not married, don't have kids, get a vasectomy. You're not married with kids, get a vasectomy. You don't have no kids at all, get a vasectomy. Get a vasectomy. This is your salvation. You've been given the solution, right? I'm giving you the solution practically for free. But if you don't, this article is going to show you what's actually going to happen, right? But before we read the article, I actually want to start with a bit of a personal anecdote. And I was a little bit hesitant, I have to be honest, to bring it up because it sort of takes my monologue on a bit of a tangent. And the reason I didn't want to bring it up was even though it was kind of relevant to what we're going to talk about today, I wondered if it would be impactful, right? But then it occurred to me that it's not my decision to decide if the information is impactful or not. It's your decision, the audience. So I'm going to tell you the anecdote, and you decide if this information is valuable. So there we were today at the office, and we had a branch meeting, right? So everybody from different branches is coming together to discuss the future of the organization, how we will steer things ahead, right? As one does. The branch meeting turned into sort of a semi breakfast, which then turned into an interactive training session. If you know, you know. Regardless, right? So we're having this situation play itself out. And a bender brought his child to work, right? He brought his daughter to work, and she, I don't know if she was reluctant to come or they brought her for a lack of a better option, or but she was just determined to be a nuisance, right? She just had a ton of energy, right? It was like a 9:30 meeting, right? We were done by 1 o'clock. It was a 9:30 kind of thing, right? So they accommodated us with some food and stuff. But she was just a ton of energy, right? There was time for like mingling and small introductions and greetings and so forth, but eventually we got into work mode, right? As we do, because it's always there, right? And I'm the one who's always in like, well, let's get the work done, right? But not forcefully, right? I'm like this in my mind, right? I'm focused, I'm diligent, I'm practical, I try to be organized and consistent, right? These are the keys to success, if you're wondering, right? So I'm always ready to get the job done, but this child just wouldn't let the process unfold, you know. She just wouldn't let us pick up the momentum, you know what I mean, that work momentum where you're in the zone and you start killing it, you know. And like, you know, we would hear them whisper things. So she was in whispering, whispering, whispering. He would whisper back, and then out she goes, right? And so the person who's presenting is trying to get the message across, get the strategy across, right? And this child just kept interrupting mid sentence, right? And then eventually, you know, I overheard her. She kept asking something that had to do with Shrek and Star Wars, and he kept having to tell her no, but like nicely. You know, he had to be nice about it, right? Because people were watching, you know, and also he was starting to lose his patience, as were we all, right? And so, you know, I look within the solitude, and I'm always within my own solitude. And perhaps I may have sensed this situation all wrong. But have you ever seen someone lose their patience but try to maintain their composure, but know that they have absolutely no choice? Like you have to, you know, play this out. You can't let them do whatever they. I mean, she was just manipulating him. She was just manipulating. This is the word, man. This is the word that was at the tip of my tongue all day. She was using the meeting to manipulate him to get whatever. I mean, she analyzed the situation perfectly and kept manipulating him. Eventually, he just had to give her what she wanted. And I can imagine that that is like a whole litany of problems all in its own. Now you've been trying to maintain alpha masculinity, oh my God, and it all collapsed in front of your entire staff. Like everyone that you want to respect you is right there, and it's all collapsing at, you know what I mean? This little girl got you wrapped around her little finger, and there's nothing you can do, you know. That little delicate dance that they were doing, I mean, she absolutely won that fight, and I'm sure she wins many of those, and she will win many more throughout her life, you know. And it got me thinking to myself, and I thought, and I looked at this guy, gray hair and all, power suit and all, and I thought to myself, I bet he's been in a tutu. I bet they've put him in a tutu. Absolutely a Santa Claus costume. He had the white beard and everything. I mean, this is a man of influence, right? This is a man of influence. And I thought to myself, what's a man that old doing with a child that young? I mean, he's headed right into retirement. He's at the peak of his powers, man. You know, he's headed right to that retirement age. And if he isn't, he will be soon. And this child is prepubescent. I mean, I don't know children's ages. Maybe she's younger than she looks. To me, she looked like she was 6 or 7 years old. But they all look like they're 6 or 7 years old to me anyway. I have to be honest to you. But I thought to myself, man, I bet you they've put him in a Santa Claus costume. He's definitely been Santa more than once, you know, more than once, I'm sure, you know. And then I started to wonder, you know, what else has this man been through? What else has this man been through in the name of children, in the name of bending the knee, when he should have just done the right thing and got a vasectomy? But this article will tell us that. It's going to tell us exactly what this man has been through when we look at the reasons why men initiate divorce. And it states here, the reasons men initiate divorce are different than the reasons women give. Oh, this is going to be great. Number one, we have different interests. Number two, a lack of respect, right? They're going to put you in a tutu or a Santa Claus costume. I knew that was going to come up. I'm never letting that tutu go. No, no, no. Number three, adultery. Of course, there's always affairs in relationships. Every relationship has an affair. I don't care what you promised God or what you promised your family. Yeah, one of you is cheating. One of you is absolutely lying. Alcohol addiction, as long as substance abuse, of course. So these are the things that are interrelated, right? So women feel like they suffer a lack of respect. I mean, you're being told you're a helpmate, so I can see where you're coming from with that. Women also complain about adultery, right? Husband's infidelity was the reason. Women complain more about alcohol addiction. In fact, alcohol addiction and substance abuse is more prevalent in men than it is in women. Actually, much higher in men than in women. So it's actually the women that would suffer the consequences of that, like physical abuse, which you notice isn't here. So women, your husband's gonna get drunk and then whoop you, um, and men, you're gonna get drunk and then beat your woman. This is what this thing is telling us, right? These are not my words. I'm just telling you what's happening in your relationship. One of you is going to get violent and the other one is going to receive the violent. That's the nature of violence, right? Then, of course, the big one, the lack of sex. This is where the irony is. This is where the big irony is. Wasn't the reason that you got married to have an intimate partner? Hey, a intimate, supportive, attentive helpmate, right? And now here you are signing divorce papers because you're not getting the intimate part of the partnership. Well, well, well. Wasn't that the reason? To get your 6 sessions a month plus your ABCs? No ABCs for you. No ABCs. No anniversary, birthdays, and Christmas, right? When those dry up, then it's really over. And we're going to see what that looks like. And then, of course, when it's all at the end of it, you suffer what they call a midlife crisis because you realize you just wasted 25 years. 25 years, right? It's 20 years with the first one, and then you have another one later on, and then you have another one later on, and then much later you have the last one. They go 25 years, and at the end of it, you get divorced, and they call it a crisis. I would too. I would define that as a midlife crisis. Losing everything in the middle of your life and then having to start again. Yeah, I can see how that is a crisis. So, the first thing that you're going to see in your relationship is that you share nothing in common with the counterpart. Isn't that ironic? Didn't you want companionship and support? You came into this because you wanted companionship and support. Different interests means you guys don't like the same things at all. In fact, you might not even like each other. It says here, if a couple grows apart, it is common for them to develop independent interests. Ooh, that sounds ominous, right? That means she's got a new boyfriend. This may be more common if a wife spends more time involved with raising children than the husband does. So, yeah, she's gonna complain that she does all the work and all you do is you sit and watch TV all day, which is not always the case. But if you do different chores to what she's doing, she's gonna feel like you're not working together. So she wants you to do what you're doing and then do what she's doing so she can feel that closeness, which actually is just a robbery. That's not a fair exchange at all. The husband then has more time to develop interests that do not involve his wife. So, what does that tell you? It tells you in your free time, you would much rather be away from your wife and kids than to be at home. This is what this tells you. This is what this tells you. You are going to be so miserable that you're going to start to develop interests away from your family just to have some peace of mind. Oh, and of course, they're not going to allow that. They're not going to allow that. When a couple pursues different interests, they have less in common and less connection. This is what I said. If you don't do things together, you don't share nothing in common. And if you do things together, that means you're always in each other's space. So you have that to look forward to. Also, if each spouse is pursuing their own unique hobbies and interests, there is little time for them to do things as a couple and continue to strengthen their marriage. So you're going to drift apart over the years because you're going to be with each other all the time, every day, raising kids, making a budget, running a business, doing work, whatever it is that you're doing. You're going to be with each other all the time. And when you're not with each other, you're not going to be thinking about each other. I mean, you might have her in the back of your mind, but you won't be thinking about her all the time. You'll be thinking about your new interests and your new hobbies, which, if they are pretty cool, like if suddenly you start riding jet skis and she's still eating brunch like a 21-year-old, which can get tiresome, right? But if she's still doing the same old same and you pick up a cool new habit like, well, I don't know, driving tanks, flying jets, riding jet skis, scuba diving, getting into submarines and going deep water diving, right? I don't know, just throwing around a few ideas, right? If you may happen to come across something as awesome as learning how to fly a helicopter, she's going to hate that. She's going to hate that because you should be at brunch with her. Listen to her talk about folding towels, right? Oh, can't imagine. Man, you should be riding helicopters, not folding towels. The second one that you can respect, oh, this is a lovely one, right? There's these guys that talk about being the man of the house, the king of the castle, the leader of the family. I'm going to protect and provide. Well, guess what? Number two is the reason that you are going to break up is because you are not getting no respect in your family. They don't respect you, bro. They don't respect you, my brother. They don't respect you. It says right here, you're going to end it all because you're not getting any respect. They put you in a tutu. They put you in a Santa Claus costume. You got a big fat stomach and they made you wear spandex. You know, they made you dress up like Peter Parker, Spider-Man. And let's be clear, Peter Parker represents a teenager. He shouldn't be dressing like Spider-Man. You shouldn't be dressing. You're 30, 40 years old. Come on, man. Says your criticism or nagging can be a marriage killer. I bet. So you can expect to be criticized. You can expect to be nagged. You can expect to be disrespected. This is what the article says. This is what's happening. You're getting nagged and you're getting disrespected. And you're getting criticized all the time in your marriage. It holds such significant destructive potential that it was recognized as one of the predictors of a relationship ending. So, significant destructive potential, that's what you're walking into. You are going to be receiving, my friend, significant destructive energy. Right? Wow. Wow. That's a combination of words that is staggering to me, right? And then your relationship will end after receiving significant destructive energy. John Gottman, I apologize if I mispronounce your name, metaphorically called it one of the four horsemen preceding divorce. Listen to that, the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Divorce is the apocalypse. Well, after divorce, you are in the apocalypse. So, yes, this metaphor here rings true to me. It continues. A wife's continuous criticism may stem from a dissatisfaction with the husband for not meeting her needs, realistic or not. So, your wife is going to give you continuous criticism along with significant destructive energy. Powerful words, right? Because she is dissatisfied with you as a husband. You will not be meeting her needs, the real ones and the fake ones, right? And then she is going to be continuously criticizing you, beating you down with what they call significant destructive potential. This is what you are headed to. It is guaranteed to a 99% outcome. That 1% that they're talking about, your only hope, that is a vasectomy. They just won't say it. They won't call it by name, but that's your only hope. Because if you don't get married and have those kids, you're going to be having those kids outside of marriage where you have no influence. And then you'll see the worst of it. Get a vasectomy. Get a vasectomy before you have to deal with unrealistic needs, where you have to start meeting unrealistic needs. Please be prepared for that. That is absolutely coming. And since the husband can't find any way to conform to that ideal, the criticism may become more vicious, inevitably leading to disillusionment and divorce. Wow, this is what's coming to you. This is your future, right? And since the husband can't find any way to conform to that ideal, since you cannot make real the unrealistic, since you are not a magician or a genie, right? Since you can't bring the sun and put it in the palm of our hands, right? The criticism is going to become more vicious. So this significant destructive potential on a continuous basis of criticism is only going to become vicious, more vicious. You are going to be viciously attacked with consistent criticism while receiving significant destructive potential. I mean, didn't I tell you were going to destroy your life? Do these words sound like you're building a future? While, of course, let's not forget, this is the header is a lack of respect. I mean, you went through all this being disrespected. That's why they put you in a tutu, man. A tutu is significantly destructive. It is significantly destructive, right? It is vicious. It is vicious, right? And her delusion is gonna cause disillusionment. So it's coming from within her. Her unrealistic expectations are going to manifest themselves into disrespect for you. And your inability to live up to those things is I mean, she's gonna rain down on you with what they call significant destructive potential. SDP. I like that. I like that. Your next little hurdle that you're just gonna have to hop over is going to be when your wife commits adultery, or she's probably gonna do it with someone you know, right? She's probably going to do it with someone you know, or she did to do it with somebody you know. So, like I said before, time travel isn't what you think it is, right? So while we're heading towards your future, there's a guy going through all of this right now. This is his present. And there's a man who's going to listen to these words and remember everything. It's all going to come crashing down on him. You know what I mean? And you're going to be experiencing PTSD, post-traumatic. So after the trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder. You'll be feeling stressed from the trauma that you went through long after it's happened. right? So you'll be remembering her adultery and the circumstances around her adultery. I mean, she probably did it the same day you were wearing a tutu. Oh, terrible, terrible. It reads, it is a widespread opinion that men have the most affairs leading to divorce. While it is generally true, no, it's not. Women also engage in infidelity. You see, men will admit to having affairs in these surveys. Women will take it to the grave. They'll take it to the grave because they know if you find out, you're out. You're out. Even if the kids are yours, you probably won't be able to stick it through. Like infidelity is really a leading cause of divorce. Like you cheat on some people, and I'm one of those people. Like I said yesterday, if I even suspect infidelity, like if I'm sitting with you and you get a text message, I'm out. I'm out. I don't care. I don't care if it's a like or a comment. Like for me, smartphones are the ultimate red flag. If I see you with a smartphone, I'm just like, no, 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 problems. As mentioned before, 13% of wives are unfaithful in their marriages or admit to being unfaithful in marriages. However, research shows that between 20 and 25% of men cheat or at least admit that they cheated. I think these numbers are significantly higher. I think you can triple these numbers and still be lowballing it. Like, I think it's just adultery. I mean, think about it. Think about it. If you're with somebody 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, they only need to cheat once, right? They don't have to do it all the time. They just need to do it once. So you're telling me in all those years she didn't do it not once, not a single time, not one single time? No, I find that hard to believe. I think everybody's cheated at least once in their current relationship. And if they haven't, they will. And there is some suggestion, it continues, that men may be less forgiving of adultery than women. Yeah, I'm paying all the bills. You're going to cheat on me? I'm out. I mean, what do I have to lose? Seriously, what do men have to lose? The statistics are on men's side in terms of paying bills. They pay all or the majority of the bills. And the 30% that women contribute into these engagements, so I mean, we're talking about like, they 16% say they pay all the bills, which I don't believe. And the rest of them say they pay what is it, egalitarian amount, almost 40%, which I don't believe. So I'll give you 30% overall. That 30% that women pay, you get that back when she leaves, right? That's all her stuff. That's all her hair, her nails, her the extra food that she eats, the extra products that she needs, her makeup, her fuel for taking her places, all the going out that you do, right? On her behalf, all the gifts that you gotta buy for all those what do they call this? Baby showers, right? All that money that you have to contribute because her nephew's in prison again, right? All that money comes straight back to you, right? And she loses 70%. So she's not gonna leave. She's getting a 70% discount from you. She's not gonna leave, right? And you can leave because, well, you get your money back. So it makes sense. It makes sense why men would not be forgiving of adultery. Conversely, it says women in the same situation might see emotional infidelity as more significant than physical when their partner forms a strong bond with somebody else. I don't think so. I think both physical and emotional upsets them, right? Because they're losing their way of life now, right? If I like somebody else, you lose your way of life. If I enjoy being intimate with somebody else more than you, you lose your way of life, right? They may become frustrated if their partner spends time and resources on other person or on another person instead of them and their children. Yeah, you see, that's the problem right there. If it's what I said before, if men are paying 70% of the bills and she then takes, like, when you're at work and she's with another man, that's not okay. That's not okay. Because that other guy, if I'm at work and you're at home and you're having an affair during home time, or those home hours, where I'm gone, it tells me that the man you're with is unemployed, because he should be at work during those times, right? And so, you're not going to leave me to be with an unemployed man, so you're going to lie, right? And if he is employed, he has responsibilities, and he's probably older, and older men always have children or they're married. This is why when people ask, why do women have affairs with married men? Because there are no other men. All the men are married. There are no single men, not over 25. In truth, most men over 25 either have a child, which means there's a woman, or they're married, which means there's a woman, right? So she's either having an affair with a married man with a child, or she's having an affair with a young man who's unemployed. These are your only two options. You're not going to get some 45-year-old guy with no wife, no kids, no responsibilities, and no job. No, that's just not possible. So you're either having an affair with a young person who's unemployed, or you're having an affair with a married person or someone who has a kid, which makes it a problem. For the guy that's paying the bills, that's a problem, right? Because now I'm paying for you while you dating a guy who's got money and he should be paying. And I'm paying for you so you can be hanging out with buying milkshakes for this broke guy in the afternoon like you're a teenager. That's unacceptable, man. That's unacceptable. That's why men leave. You cheat, he's gone. He takes his money and he goes. Let the poor guy pay, man. I say let him have her. I say let him have her. Oh, this one is my favorite. This one is my absolute favorite. The lack of sex. Oh, the way this is so ironic. I've already worked out the numbers for this. And so, for you guys that are going into relationships thinking that you're going to get intimacy, or you're absolutely not getting it. You are not getting any intimacy at all. And I said this and I proved it, and I'll prove it again, right? So the statistics say, and these stats are true, the average loving couple, like this is a couple that's fully in love and dating, you're going to do it 8 times a month. This is your maximum, right? This is your maximum. In general, you get it once a week or once every 5 or 6 days. So you're averaging around 5 or 6 intimate encounters with your partner every month, right? Maximum, you're not doing it every day. You're not doing it every day. You're doing it 2, maybe 3 times a week, right? Twice a week maximum. But on the other side, on the average side, you're getting it 5 times a month. Now, this is just average and best, right? Just consider that you need to be intimate practically every single day, right? You have the desire for it, even though you're not going to pull it off. You're not going to pull it off, even biologically. If you do go for a certain amount of time, you're going to need a certain amount of rest. But that desire is there. And it, like, the more you have an intimate partner who's there and is not being intimate with you while you're paying the bills, on the one hand, it induces paranoia. Then you ask yourself, well, who's she being intimate with? Right? And number 2, if she's not being intimate with anyone at all, that's a problem. Because then why are you here with me? We're supposed to be intimate partners. And if you say, well, intimacy isn't an important part of a relationship, this is why you're getting divorced. Because you want a intimate partner. And she's not being intimate, so therefore you're just getting bills. You're just paying bills. And it, a man will continue, a man will know that he's not being intimate with someone instantly, right? We know, like, oh, it's been 2 days, or it's been 3 days, right? That activity, we catalog it systematically. We will know, oh, you said you had a headache 4 times last month. On this day, on that day, on this day, and on that day. It was at this time of the day you were wearing this and you were eating that and you were doing this. And I said this and you said you have a headache. Men will tell you those details. Like he won't remember what you were wearing the first day you met, or any of your niece's birthdays, when when your nephew's coming out of prison. He won't remember, but he'll remember every single time where you denied him intimacy. Every single time. Every man remembers. And every woman will be surprised at the extent of the details to which he can remember that, but he can't even remember the color of the underwear he's wearing right now, which tells you these details matter, right? And so you need it every day. You think about it every day, but you're not getting any. This doesn't mean you're going to get any. Just because we understand that what you're going through doesn't mean you're going to get it. It's just me being empathetic. She's not giving it to you. Listen to me very carefully. If you think you're going to get married and be intimate with that person, sometimes or most of the times, I'm here to tell you you're wrong. This article is going to indicate very clearly that you get no intimacy in marriage. Zero, nothing, nothing at all, nothing at all, right? Not sometimes. It starts off as sometimes and it ends up as nothing. Years will go by. I mean, years will go by, and all you have is a roommate. It reads, marriages often start with intense love and desire for closeness, including emotional and sexual intimacy. But as time goes by, passion may fade and lead to a lack of sex for some couples. May lead, may lead. These words imply possibility. I'm here to tell you it will lead. I guarantee you. For a husband who values physical intimacy, and that's you, by the way, the issue of not having sex can be particularly distressing. So you will be particularly distressed because you're not getting any physical intimacy. This is what this article is telling you if you read it through the lens of a vasectomite. According to a 2017 study, 15.2% of men and 26.7% of women reported no sexual activity the previous year. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. For 8.7% of men and 17.5% of women, this pause lasted for 5 years or longer. Oh, this is monk mode for sure. This is inadvertent monk mode, right? These are married people we're talking about, right? You have to remember that we're not talking about single people, right? With no girlfriend and I don't really want to go out and make the effort. I'm lethargic, whatever. No. These are married people in committed, loving, intimate relationships. 15% of men and 26% of women report having had no sexual activity the previous year. No, I told you, no intimacy. You're not getting any intimacy. The woman is not having intimacy with her husband, and the husband has to go get it somewhere else. Because these numbers don't match, right? You've gotten so frustrated that you went and got it somewhere else, right? And for, let's say, 10% of the men and almost 20% of the women, so that's 8.7 and 17.5, They went 5 years, 5 years in a marriage with no intimacy. Oh, imagine. This is what you signed up for. You went in there to get intimacy. You went in there because you said you were tired of the bachelor life. You said you were tired of paying for all these dates. Huh? How many times I gotta pay $70 for a piece of chicken? Should have paid for that chicken, my friend, and you should have been grateful. Left a tip. That's what you should have done. You should have put on your trousers and that wonderful suit and gone and went on another date. But no, no, not you. You don't want the bachelor life. You tired of meeting new people every day. Oh, how many times must I tell people my favorite color? Well, there you are. You should have went and told her your favorite color, because now it's been 5 years, 5 glorious years. No wonder you have a midlife crisis. No wonder you have a midlife crisis. You haven't felt any passion in 5 years. 5 years. And the last time some of you got it was last year, 2024. It's 2026 in some places. You telling me you're heading into a new year with no passion and you're married? This is marriage. It's happening to you right now. Hey, you are in year 3. There's a guy out there who's in year 3 of this. And he knows there's no turning back the clock. Today he's been told that it could be 5 years. You're only halfway, my friend. You are only halfway. The absence of sexual activity in marriage can trigger feelings of insecurity and anxiety. So now you're going to be feeling insecure. Every time you touch her, she's going to say no. Every time you come close, she's going to say no. My body, my choice, right? Mainly when there was a higher frequency of sexual intimacy in the past years, right? So if there was intimacy in the past years and suddenly it stops or decreases, this is going to leave you feeling somehow, man. It's going to leave you feeling somehow. They say insecurity and anxiety. I would say the first thing that comes to mind is paranoia, right? As soon as we stop, I know something is wrong. I know something is wrong. That if that's not a clear sign that your relationship has a problem, then I don't know what to tell you, because that's what relationships are all about: intimacy. You want an intimate partner. You're not getting it for 5 years. 5 years when you used to get it and now you're not getting it no more. That's a problem. That's a change, right? You're going to notice that change and you're going to divorce over it, according to this article, right? But first, you're going to be paranoid, you're going to be anxious, you're going to be insecure, right? You're going to wonder what the change was, and then you're going to realize, I'm heading into year 4. Last time I got any was what, 2022, when the pandemic ended? So the last time you got any was in the pandemic? In the pandemic? Oh, can't believe that. I can't believe that. That's like saying, last time I kissed my wife was in the World War. That's the same thing. We're talking about the same kind of thing, right? Same historical monumental moment. So you're going to say, you seriously going to talk and say that the last time you had intimacy was in the pandemic? Goodness gracious, right? When a husband cannot fulfill his sexual needs, of which there are so many, he may naturally start looking for satisfaction outside of marriage, which may lead to eventual divorce. May lead? May lead? Oh, it's definitely going to lead to a divorce, because as soon as you start getting some intimacy from somebody else, you're going to realize you're paying bills for absolutely no reason. You got to realize, and that's the problem, because you pay those bills every day. So, if you're not getting satisfied, that's rough. That really is rough. That can be frustrating. But you did it to yourself. You did it to yourself. I want you to know that this is not me feeling sorry for you. No sympathy here. Huh? I told you get a vasectomy. I told you, man, if you're having problems with existentialism, you just need to be appreciative of the bachelor life, maybe take a break from all your activities and continue. If you're wondering, well, how many trips must I take? How many more nights out must I have? I'm going to tell you, have another one and then another one after that. You get on that jet ski. You better stay on that jet ski. You better drive that fast car. You listen to me very carefully. You better go on those dates and you smile at those photos. Every single time you raise that glass real high and you make sure they get a good photo of your good side, living the bachelor life. Because otherwise, you're looking at a 5-year drought and the cause of the drought will be sitting right next to you. Man, she'll make you buy a bigger house so she can get an extra bedroom so she doesn't have to sleep with you. And you'll pay that money just so you can have her in another room. You'll buy a new house just so she can get a new room so she can stay away from you. Are you crazy? Are you absolutely crazy, man? Get a vasectomy. This is what's happening right now in marriages, and this is what's gonna happen to you. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. You'll be sleeping down the hall, and she'll call you on your phone and ask you if everything's okay, and you'll say, "Yeah, I'm cool." Then she'll say good night and hang up. She's down the hall, man. Why is she calling you? Why are you FaceTiming your wife when she's down the hall? Because your relationship is better online than it is in real life. Absolutely not, man. Get a vasectomy, guys. Get it quickly. So after all of that drama, right? Something's got to give. So something eventually is gonna break inside of you as a man after all the things you've been through and finding out that you're not getting any intimacy. No, 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 not for you. You're gonna crack, man. You're gonna break, right? You're gonna file for divorce, and what you're gonna do, this is what every bachelor does when they come out of the romance war or they come out of a long-term relationship. Instead of hitting monk mode for a year or two, they want to make up for the lost time. Oh, catastrophe. I've seen it a million times. A bender ends a relationship and thinks the best way to make up for a cheating wife is to get, guess what? Another cheating wife. Right? And then what happens is you are in a whirlwind of trouble now. Because you're dating and you're divorced and you're taking care of kids and you gotta work all the time and you're trying to get into shape, but you can't get into shape because you gotta go on these dates, you know. Instead of being in the gym, you're on a date eating fatty foods, eating fast foods, drinking alcohol, staying up late at night, eating restaurant food when you shouldn't be, right? When you should know better. You have a midlife crisis. You're in a crisis, right? Your money's gone, your lifestyle is gone, your identity as a father, as a husband, as a leader of the family, as a provider and protector, all gone, all gone. Now you got to start all over again and be cool and be attractive and be funny when all you got is nothing but dad jokes. Oh, it's a miserable situation, right? You were in the middle of your life. You were expecting this to take you right through to the end. And now you're in your mid 40s, 50s, mid 50s. And it's all come crashing down. Crisis. Crisis. It says married men sometimes withdraw from their wives after years of a seemingly good marriage. We've seen what a good marriage is. Seemingly good marriage, right? Seemingly is the operative word here. Not real, just looks real, right? Not because their wives did something wrong, but due to inner discontent with their lives. I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. You're married to someone for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years. Most of you are going to be divorced in 10 years. And they say that the problem is that You have inner discontent. You are discontent with yourself. No, you look at your reality and that causes you inner discontent. The situation you're in is telling you, no, no, no. That is your bachelor inside of you screaming for help. That is the bachelor inside of you dying painfully. But he will not go quietly. He will fight because bachelor is your primary setting. It's your basic instinct, right? And when you have this crisis, this conflict of interest, this what do they call it? Inner discontent. That's because you know you're not living the life you're supposed to live. And you're going to try and make up for it as quickly as possible. When to live the bachelor life, in truth, takes a lifetime. It's not a phase, man. It's not something that you do sometimes and then go back into the romance war. The marriage does not cause this sense of unhappiness, of course it does, but many men mistakenly attribute it to relationship problems. A significant factor in a midlife crisis is men may realize they don't have time, health, and energy to fulfill their dreams or excel in their careers. Yes, because they just spent 20 years changing diapers and folding towels and arguing over teaspoon and being emotionally intelligent, that they realize how much time they wasted that they'll never get back, right? It has everything to do with the relationship. It has everything to do with the marriage. Bachelors do not suffer midlife crises. You know, we're like I was discussing the existential crisis of the bachelor life, where really you know you get tired of you know jet skis, quad bikes, all kinds of things that are pretty cool actually, and pretty awesome, but there's a monotony to doing it 100 times, right? Um, and there's and but I don't now expect to be 50 and 60 and 70 thinking, man, I should have rode more jet skis. No, I rode enough. I'll be satisfied with what I've done. But if you haven't done it at all, I can see how that can be frustrating. Like your strength, your energy is all gone, wasted to cleaning gutters. You were cleaning gutters for 20 years? Terrible. TA, midlife crisis, I know what TA stands for. Midlife crisis is more common among men, 15.5% in their 40s and early 50s. I told you these are guys who wasted 20 years of their lives and now they regret it, who usually focus on goals outside their personal lives. In comparison, women often have strong relationships with others, like family and friends, and thus are less likely to experience a midlife crisis. I mean, seriously now? Have you seen a 50-year-old woman regret the decisions she's made? I mean, that's an absolute crisis. At least a man in his 50s still has some power for accomplishment. You don't want to be 50 years old talking about, I was going to be CEO by 34. No, you weren't. If you were going to be CEO by 34, you'd be CEO by 34. Both men and women actually suffer this crisis. I've seen women just be miserable at the amount of time they spent in a marriage and the fact that they're older now and more divorced and can't get anything out of it. It just makes you feel even worse. It just makes you feel absolutely terrible. you know. So my advice is just don't get married. Just stay out of it, man. This is what's coming to you, right? When it all falls apart after you've failed in a marriage, you're just gonna collapse and have a midlife crisis. This is what they're telling you. This is exactly what's going to happen to you. The bottom line after this, actually, I forgot a another slide. I've got another slide that includes alcohol addiction. It's from the previous yesterday's video, but they didn't include it in this part of the article because they covered it in an earlier part. But I will cover that part after I do the bottom line. The decision to get a divorce for women is multifaceted. Multifaceted, in other words, has many faces, many levels, many criteria, and can have various underlying causes. Some divorces result from years of living in an unhappy marriage and misery. In contrast, others are driven by a desire for more independence, building a career, or finding a more suitable partner. Listen to that, right? So you're going to be unhappy in your marriage. You're going to be miserable. You're not going to have no independence. You're not going to build a career. And you're still not going to be with a suitable partner. Wow. This is your future, by the way. Both men and women give a variety of reasons for divorce, but most marriages end because the couple grows apart or argues often. So you're gonna grow apart and you're gonna argue often. These are the operative words here. This is a terrible situation, man. Why would you want to be part of this? Why would you want to be part of this? And then add alcohol on top of that. Come on. Come on. You deserve better than this. You deserve better than this. Right? Be a bachelor. Get a vasectomy. Get a vasectomy, guys. When it comes to alcohol addiction, I actually got this in the wrong order, but in the original article, they don't come back to this slide. They just move on and skip alcohol addiction. The reason is the information is exactly the same as it was in the counterparts part of the discussion. But we'll do it again here, just so we don't have any gaps in information. We'll just read through it briefly. Alcohol addiction, according to the 2021 NSDUH report, 16.3 million men 18 years or older said they had a problem drinking too much alcohol in the past year. In comparison, 12.4 million women in the same age group experienced issues with alcohol. So, of the 30 million, almost 30 million people struggling with alcohol, you're probably going to be one of them, or you're probably going to get married to one of them, right? So you will experience these problems in your life. And these also include us other illicit substances. It's not just alcohol. There's tobacco, there's vaping, there's all kinds of other things that come along with that. And the problems that come with the people that your counterpart or bender had a problem with when they were under the influence of alcohol. So if they were violent and and abusive, the person that they were violent and abusive and belligerent to is gonna want some type of retribution, right? They always do. So you can always look forward to that or the consequences of their actions that they take in your absence, but under the influence of alcohol. Those will come back to you too. Research published in Clinical Psychology Review investigated the impact of alcohol addiction on marriages. Marriages. The study indicated that marriages were less happy when one spouse experienced alcohol-related problems, such as excessive drinking. So if she drinks and you don't, that's a problem. And if you drink and she doesn't, that's just as much of a problem. Another study found that if one spouse is a heavy drinker, the marriage is 50% more likely to end in divorce. So, you're 75% more likely to end up divorced anyway. So I'm assuming they're just adding 50% somehow to that number, bringing you closer probably to 80 or 90% chance of divorcing, which is, similar to my numbers. I think all of you are going to get divorced, and those of you that don't are going to be miserable to the day you die. A different study compared alcohol consumption in various countries and found that an increase in 1 liter of alcohol consumption per person in a year in the country on average is linked to a 20% increase in divorce for that country. So just by adding 1 liter per year, you increase your chances of getting divorced by 20% because you're already drunk. And you add a little bit more alcohol to that, it's just going to mess you up even worse. You just won't know what you're doing, right? And this is really the problem I have with alcohol. I said this yesterday, is that it doesn't knock you out. It keeps you awake, it keeps your body awake and shuts down your mind. So your body's doing things that, quite frankly, you're going to regret and that you can't be held accountable for. That's why, regardless of how drunk you are, they still hold you accountable for your actions because who else is going to be? Right? So, if you're a drinker, you're going to be held accountable for whatever you do when you're drunk. And if your counterpart is a drinker, you will still be held accountable for what the counterpart does when she drinks. So, that's a no win for you. No wonder. No wonder you have that midlife crisis, right? No wonder you're going towards a midlife crisis. Something's got to give, man. Something's got to give. I just want us to have one last look at this list of reasons here why men initiate divorce. And I just want you to remember what I've been repeating throughout these videos is that this is in fact what's going to happen to you. This is a guaranteed outcome, right? The best you're getting is 1 or 2 years, not even years. You're not getting 2 good years in a marriage, right? What happens is these issues already are there and are prevalent and are persistent in your marriage, but you just tolerate them more. And your tolerance wanes after like a year and a half, 2 years. And at the end of 2 years, you just can't deal with it anymore. That's why people say, oh, the first years were good. The first years were exactly the same, but you were just more open to dealing with nonsense, right? Because you didn't have a vasectomy. And if you had a vasectomy, you would have just ended all of this. You would have just ended all of this instead of just letting it persist. So go get a vasectomy, right? I'm not going to get tired of saying this, right? Only 2% of men have a vasectomy. So it's a topic that's worth repeating and saying over and over and over again. And also, it means that I don't have to be coming up with all kinds of new ideas to create videos. I mean, there's people that's having to create all kinds of things every day. Imagine every day you got to find a new gimmick to impress your audience. It must be frustrating not having a real message. Imagine that every day I gotta go find a new video to review. How many videos can you watch with people just talking nonsense, saying the same thing every day? I mean, I guess I do too. That's a bit of a hypocritical situation, but I actually have a point to make, right? I have a point to make. I'm not telling you to go to the gym and then go get a counterpart, make money and go get a counterpart and lose all your money. Get a vasectomy first and then get a counterpart. Try that. Try that. See how that works for you. Right? Let's see if a vasectomy will do for you what your muscles cannot or what your money cannot. Because as soon as you get her pregnant, I mean, what good are your muscles then? How is money going to get you out of a pregnancy? I mean, it's not. It's not. You need the permission of a counterpart to make decisions. That's not what the bachelor life is about. We are about independence, self reliance. We look inward for our strength. You don't look outward to other people to fuel us forward. That's absurd. What happens if they get tired and I'm still in the mix? What happens if they get tired and I'm still ambitious and I still have goals to achieve? I'm in the zone, I'm focused, right? I want to do extra time, overtime, every time. And you're tired. Now I have to be tired too. This is not the way of the bachelor. Look to yourself for strength, and you will find it in abundance. Look to others, and you will find it that they are deficient in strength. They don't even have enough strength for themselves, let alone to share with you. Stand on your own. Protect your seed. Freeze your sperm. Literally freeze your sperm. Don't protect it in theory. How are you protecting your seed if you're going out there spreading it? Freeze it, lock it up, put it in a vault. Get a passcode for it with a retina scan and a fingerprint scan. Make it so that you have to speak to a lawyer and sign a contract to release your own sperm from yourself so that you never have the desire to get it because you got to pay the lawyer first, right? And then you got to pay the urologist. And then you got to pay all these people to get access to your seed. And if you have such a tough time getting to it, then the counterpart won't be able to get it either. Because once they do, oh, that's the end. You you know, we spend 2 days in the dark dimension looking at exactly what's going to happen to you. And quite frankly, it's exhausting. Just thinking about it is exhausting. I can only imagine what it's like living this life. And 99% of you are going to go through this if you haven't already. And if you're not going through it right now, it is guaranteed. Unless you join the 1% and you do the one thing that can actually make a difference and you get a vasectomy. This is the Ancient One with another heartfelt video. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate it and I always will. Have a good evening.